What's up, everybody? My name is Kason. Welcome back to WDL. This is Season 4, Week 5, and we are kicking things off this week with the Wezette League. We've got a bunch of awesome fights for you guys today, and in case you didn't know, this week is actually going to be another double-header week, where we have 2 battles for every single person in this league. This is essentially also our halfway point, and the last double-header week we will have for the rest of the season. We're going to be 9 weeks instead of 8. We are cutting out one of the other doubleheader weeks, as it seems like for a lot of players, 2 battles in 1 week is just a little bit too much. So just keep in mind, this is the halfway point. 9 weeks total. This is week 5. So this is when things really start to get interesting. We're going to see the playoff standings really start to take shape. But before that, we've got 12 battles in this video. So let's take a look at the standings before we jump into them. First of all, we have 1 player alone in first place, Maraxus, coach of Bento Bullies, currently sitting at 5-0. And then we have a 3-way tie for second between Isvar, Meefle, and Dervis, coaches of Oelde's Angels, Lightning Warriors, and Section 9. Last week, Garouken picked up a huge win, was the first team to take down Isvar, kept himself alive to keep himself in 5th place with a 3-2 record. Greatestness, Hisoka, and Nemo are all in a 3-way tie, currently at 2-3, all having beaten each other to this point. Alkor, Shadow 91, Taiyo, and Maou, all 1-4. So a lot of things can change this week. I think we're going to have a bunch of awesome fights. I hope you guys enjoyed them, and let's jump into them. Alright guys, reached the halfway point in our season. Wezette League, here to go. Week 5, we are starting things off with Taiyo on the right side, coach of Witch of the Empire, versus Norra's gang, coached by Maou. Interesting team coming out from Taiyo. We've got 9S, Terra, and Stern Wing of Destiny versus the other side, a full magic composition with that Halloween Lucia, Little Leela, and Murmur. Really interesting here is that shield deployment comes out from the 9S. Spell fortification on Lucia's side here means she has a massive physical health shield. That can be pretty useful. 9S does not have a barrier break in his kit. Stern does, but he has to get up close and personal to use it. It is not his big AoE, so I do expect to see some value from that physical health shield here. The fast cast coming out from Murmur is going to mean that Little Leela catches that extra speed. She's a fantastic tank, but her agility is not great, so that haste can be quite useful to try and get her on the other side of the field here. The Mind Fortress could mitigate damage from Terra quite effectively. It's a 70% magic barrier. But man, oh man, holy crap, you've got to be kidding me. The ESPER tech is already here for Taiyo. We've seen him try this kind of stuff before, and it hasn't worked this season. But already he is using the Carbuncle effect, which gives Reflect to the entire team. Holy shit, this is so cool. Convergence one-shots Mao's Little Leela. I did not expect that. This is going to be really dangerous for Maou. I think Halloween Lucia's spells are all reflectable. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think they are. And the entire team on Taiyo's side has Reflect right now. Fastcast is here for Murmur, so he's nice and speedy. Assault Field comes out, which means the accuracy is up. I don't think you're going to need that on this field here. Convergence Plus deals no damage. Like I said, that huge physical health shield going to mitigate all of that for the side of Maou here. And you do have a hasted up Lucia. It's not over, but if those spells are reflectable, good night. I don't know. We'll have to see. Sudden End comes out, and the Reflect for both one-shots herself. Oh my god. Maou, I am so sorry for what is happening right now, but this tech from Taiyo is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a PvP match. To start this week off this way is crazy. Pinion of Steel comes out for that AoE resist. Murmur, I imagine, going to go for a heal onto Halloween Lucia. Kira's going to come out, so it looks like she doesn't have a TMR to heal up. Slate Wiper will remove that haste as well. And unless Halloween Lucia can just clean up right now, it is over. Sudden End comes out, though. The Reflect is still on 9S, and she kills herself with it. Oh my god. This is bananas, dude. I literally don't know what to say. Hacking comes out from 9S, and I'm starting to wonder if Taiyo is hacking on this side here. The Aegis Crush will take out Murmur. Guys, I said this at the beginning of the season. So Taiyo was having phone issues and couldn't do most of his fights like to start the season, and then he had to play a bunch in a row. Last season, Taiyo, often in the YouTube comments, was considered like the favorite of all the people who watch this, just because he brought interesting strategies out and just really cool stuff. We saw a Phoenix ESPER tech last time, and this is the first time we've seen Carbuncle. And this is like the epitome of how well an ESPER tech could come out in terms of PvP. To get Terra online, to use the TMRs to try and get that ESPER gauge up, along with all the equipment. He launched Carbuncle before the damage even happened. This was insane. I literally don't have words for this. Taiyo, really, really well done. I'm, proud to call you my guildmate. And on the side of Maou, I'm so sorry, but if you were going to lose to one of the coolest strategies I've ever seen in my life, man, that's crazy. I don't know how we're going to go up from here throughout the rest of the video, but that was awesome. And let's check out the next fight. Fight number 2 of week 5 for Wezette. They have their work cut out for them to try and keep up with whatever that last fight was. We've got Maraxus on the left side, though, undefeated up to this point. Coach of Bento box Bullies with a double strike plus Velis support comp. And it looks like double gunner on the other side for Alkor, coach of Royally Funked, who finally got on the board last week. Can he try and keep up that momentum against one of the top teams in the league, or rather first place, the absolute top team in the league up to this point? March of the Dragon Stag Princess comes out from the Alaya. Marauding Spirit online for Durando. If you guys don't know about Durando, his resistances are not great, but his HP is ridiculous. For this MR unit, he's got 16,500 HP right now, and he can bring the pain. Chasm Render coming out, though, from Raldor is another unit who can bring the pain. 6,700 damage. Durando typically does have naturally good strike resistance, I believe, but he does drop some of that resistance with the limit break. But the Sadistic Dance from Lucia could be huge. This is a chance to disable. Does it land? The Immobilize lands, but I don't think the Disable did, which means Maraxus should still be in a decent spot here. Courage comes out from the Tifa. She's going to start walking forward. Elias should be able to get damage down. Hail of Bullets, decent amount, considering it's ice versus fire here. Raldor with another Demolition Fist. It's just barely not enough to take out the Durando, which means he should get a turn to attack because Tifa is not in range to deal damage. Another Sharpshoot coming out from Lucia, though, will take out the Raldor. And now it is a 3v2 and Alkor's advantage here. The Snow Healing is going to whiff. That was intended for Raldor, not for Tifa. Heart of Flutter, though, from Durando is interesting. I think he would have been in range for attacks, which means maybe this Tifa is really dodgy. The standard attack will take out Durando, so 2v2 at this point, and a Sharpshoot comes out again. I'm starting to think that that is the case, that it is actually an evasion team as another Sharpshoot comes through. 10,000 damage. Courage is going to save her life, but she needs to do something soon, or she's going to be taken out by another Sharpshoot here. She needs to somehow get some good damage down. Overpower Plus is 5k, but it's not enough to one-shot the Lucia. She doesn't have the AP for Sharpshoot. She only has 12. I think it costs 14. Griever's Wings comes out, though, going to haste herself, but Alaya has the AP. She is going to take out the Tifa, and Alkor, off the back of his first win of the season. I've said before that this is a fantastic player who got off to a rough start. Might just be able to hand Maraxus his first loss of the season, but not if Velis has anything to say about it. He's going to start approaching the other side. How much damage can he get done? Turns out none. Alaya is going to one-shot that Maraxus, and wow, this week is kicking off with some really hot fights here. Alkor gets his second win on the board and puts the first L onto Maraxus here for all season. Shout out to Maraxus as well. I don't mean to be spoilery if you guys didn't catch it, but the most recent Friday night fights for Orange A, week number 1, back from, I don't know, maybe a year or more so ago, Maraxus ended up actually taking the victory in week 1 for Friday night fights, which was really, really cool, using an amazingly cool team at the end, actually featuring Etra. But so Maraxus is an outstanding player. Alkor gives him his first loss of the season in the WDL. Very, very cool to see. So shout out to both of these players. And let's check out the next fight. Fight number 3, we've got on the left side here, Elite, coached by Greatestness, versus the Vanargand, coached by Shadow91. And both of these teams really itching for a win here. A Starry Veil coming out from the Fryevia. This is normally used to nullify any sort of status effects. Does pump her faith up all the way up to 100, so actually will upgrade her damage just a little bit. But I imagine that's probably for the Berserk, maybe from Alaya or just from a Vega TMR. She does have access to that. As the Wind Veritas TMR coming out from Krace, obviously a great option if you're going up against some physical units, which there are a couple on Greatestness side. One thing I will shout out for Greatestness, I think it was him last week, we saw Freyevia put the pain down. I do wonder, with this triple sword composition, that brand new VC that came out that gives AoE resist, the slash attack, and slash penetration, that can really amplify some damage for some of these units here. So I'm curious to see if this Freyevia can be a damage dealer along with the tank as well. She's a huge value at 70 cost, but Shadow's Krace is going to come in, arm shot, one-shots the Zazan, or I shouldn't say one-shots, he already took damage to be fair, but just obliterates him. Who needs the disable if you can just kill him like that? Arrowfall comes out from the uni, which can be pretty nice here actually. This is going to nullify haste, so even if Freyevia limit breaks, she will not haste herself, as long as that's, I think, within the next few turns or so. Reagan out of buff, so he's just going to start walking forward. Freyevia is in the exact same spot. Krace, can she deal some more damage as well, or land a disable? 3,300 damage, no disable, but she does get her own CT up, which is nice. Uni with another Arrowfall, and these two missile units being really pesky. I say two, here comes three. Eliza, she's going to go for the limit break. I don't think this kills, but this should deal a good amount of damage. 6,300 and dropping the ice resistance. Freyevia barely hangs on, and Reagan with the crucial chakra, actually. That could be massive. I think that Freyevia had like a couple hundred health, and now she has 10k. She's going to go for the limit break. She should not get hasted by this, though. It does not one-shot those two units, but now she's going to be harder to take down, especially because these missile units are running out of AP. And that chakra now is looking like the MVP of this fight here. As Eliza, what can she do? She's going to start channeling, so I imagine a clean piercer. But another chakra from Reagan. He says, I'm not a damage dealer, baby. I am a support. Clean piercer coming in for 5k. Freyevia should be able to clean up these two units here. Spellveil Blade will do it. And it looks like Elite and Greatestness are probably going to pick up this win here. It looked really good for Shadow for a moment. Maybe if he could have got one extra crit or something. Arm shot does not disable. I think maybe that would have been the only remote chance. Let's be honest. I don't think Krace could have ever taken out Freyevia here all by herself. But very well played to both sides here. I think Greatestness is going to pick up the win in just a couple of attacks. Spellveil Blade will deal 6,400 damage. Krace is trying her absolute hardest. And she put in some work in this fight, I will say. She dealt some good damage. She took out the Zazan before he could do much of anything. But the Monk sub-job Reagan was the MVP of this fight, if you ask me. Those two chakras just healing up to full was absolutely massive for the fight. Greatestness on a bit of a roll here. I think he started the season, I want to say like 1-3. But he's picked up a couple of wins recently, so props to him. Huge congrats. Let's check out the next fight. Next teams to enter the ring are the Bag of Cats versus the Lionsguard. Shout out to the Bag of Cats, coached by Garouken. Last week was the first team this season to take down Isvar. Can he keep some of that positive momentum going, or does Nemo have something to say about it? It looks like Winter Luarth are going to go back, upgrade that accuracy and crit rate for both her and the McLeod, and it looks like this is the full Pierce team coming out from Garouken. This is the exact comp that beat Isvar last week. Will it be as successful against the Lionsguard here? As the positioning is interesting. So Dialdo all the way on one side of the map, while the damage dealers are on the other side, obviously to try and draw units in, make Dialdo kind of try and waste time, waste AP, all that kind of good stuff before the two damage dealers can clean up. One shout out though, I will say for Nemo here, as Seal Evil comes out from the Stadio for 1,000 damage, that follow-up is not ready for Bartz here. And we've seen before for Nemo that he doesn't always opt in for the follow-up for Bartz. He mainly tries to play him just like a regular DPS, and it's worked pretty well for him up to this point. Bart's ready to go, deal some damage. Blade Blitz going to deal 3,400. One thing I was going to shout out, though, I didn't get to yet, is Titus is a very good anti-pierce tank. So I could see this being a problem for Garouken, and Nemo might have called this one, but Dialdo dealing 4,000 to the Mustadio, if he is able to attack one more time, that Mustadio is going to deal very little in this fight overall. The Sentinel is here for Titus, so he does have hate at the moment because I believe he already used Saintly Fortress. Binding Javelin, only 2,300, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Winter Luartha is a fantastic damage dealer. Launch, though, is not a pierce attack. That is a slash attack, which Titus is extremely weak to. So, even though the full pierce team is here for Garouken... Oh my god, just cancel whatever the hell I just said. Dialdo just got petrified by Mustadio. You've got to be shitting me right now. That is basically an insta-kill. Paralyzing Edge is going to take out the Titus other than his courage, so he's barely online. McLeod should be able to clean this up. But in a fight that looked really good for a moment for Garouken, it might not be, as this tank is basically useless here. Leg shot's going to come out, so he doesn't go for another petrify, but this time the follow-up attack is here, deals good damage. And now Blade Blitz coming out from the Bartz. He's going to just murder the McLeod. Unless Winter Luartha can take out Bartz right now. Battering Lance, he does. She does take out Bartz. Holy shit, this fight just keeps turning on its head over and over. Mustadio, do you have enough damage to kill this Winter Luartha? It's just going to be a standard attack. It's not enough. The crit is 1250. Winter Luartha, I think, takes him out, but he reflexes it. Mustadio reflexes it. This dude is the MVP of the fight. He is petrified Dialdo, and he reflexes Winter Luartha. Garouken has got to be raging at his screen right now. Mustadio crits for 1200 and kills Luartha. Holy shit, guys. Mustadio, oh my god. Dude, I already had the thumbnail planned after the first fight that Carbuncle was going to be on here, but Mustadio is trying his best to be on here as well. This week is insane. I don't know. Dude, I feel for Garouken so hard right now. He got the Petrify and the Reflex. The RNG was not in his favor in this fight. But regardless, that was really cool to see, as we never see Mustadio just pop off like that. So shout out to both of these players in an insanely close fight. And the completely stoned Dialdo, rest in peace, man. I'm so sorry. But amazing fight. We've got plenty more for you guys. Let's jump into the next one. Guys, I don't know how much more of this I can take. This fight better not be absolutely insane like the last few. But it looks like we've got the Eggplant Brigade rocking a double axe comp. Vega, Yerma, and Balo. Very cool to see. It looks like Rugia, Renan, and Agrius coming out from Dervis. So a very unique composition. I don't think we've seen this team coming out from him yet, as the AP Auto Restore is here for Yerma. And this is always a risky tech to go for in these times, as the Wind Veritas TMR is everywhere. But it looks like he might successfully get this off. The Keen Blade comes out from Agrius. Lightning Blessing here for Renan, as he's going to have his shield ready to go. And Rugia, nice and hasted up, is actually just going to refresh the Griever's Wings. He's walking forward. I don't think Dervis necessarily wants to see that. However, he is now going to have haste for an extra turn, which is nice to see. The Domain of Lightning comes out. This is, I think, a ton of extra spirit for the team, which won't do a whole lot. But the Keenblade comes out from Balo. This turn order is going to be interesting. Can Hisoka... I don't think either one of his units can reach damage or anything. The Courage is going to be online for Vega, which means I think he has both Re-Raise and Courage at the moment. And Yerma, if she gets an opportunity to attack, is going to deal so much damage. Her defense piercing rate is up, and she just carves units up. That is honestly tanked insanely well by Balo, this damage by Rugia. Mortal Severance coming out 3,000 onto the Rugia from Vega. Obviously that elemental advantage helping out a bit here, as the Trinity Burst is a nice slash chain, and Balo says, Vega, that's all the damage you got, buddy? I got more than that. Yerma coming out, though. Soaring Axe Slash. How much is this going to do to Renan? She is known for just one-shotting people. That is 11,000. Good lord, Renan, rest in peace, my guy. He never got an opportunity. This Yerma is cracked. McCrane showed us the way, I think, a couple of seasons ago. But this unit is crazy, and it misses. Is this... Okay, so at Axe and Sword Knight, every unit on Hisoka's team can be on the Halloween Lucille card, which gives agility and luck. And if dodging that wasn't enough, Vega says, bro, I got Reflex as well, so let's just dodge even more attacks. Rugia's Limit Break is going to be completely avoided by the Vega. Yerma's going to claim her second kill of the fight, so that is a double kill for her. Momentum, so the King Bradley TMR for Vega, he actually, because of the height range, it looks like, can't reach the Agrius, as the Hallow Bolt comes out, tanked up very, very nicely, and Hisoka is in prime position to take this victory. Conquering Blow is tanked very, very well by Agrius, to be honest. But Vega says, hey, I want in this on this Limit Break party as well. Axe of the Void comes out. Does this berserk the Agrius here? 6,600 damage, and yes, it does. Balo should be able to come in and clean this up. Taunting Blade comes out, 6,000 damage to the berserked enemy, and Hisoka brings the pain this week. Dervis, up to this point, has only lost one fight, but Hisoka puts another into that column for him. A very, very impressive showcase, and Yerma just 11k damage. I mean, I every single time I see her do this to somebody, I'm still surprised, even though I know it's coming. She doesn't have great AoE attacks, but if she is allowed to just single target attack somebody, she just murders them. It is crazy. So shout out to the Eggplant Brigade. Congrats on the win. Let's head up to the next fight. Let's The last fight on the Heimler Castle Gate, guys, before we move to the Rundal Castle Gate, and Isvar and Elda's Angels are rocking that classic Oelde King of the Lions. On the other side here, Meefle and the Lightning Warriors staying somewhat true to the name with 2 lightning units. Obviously a couple of lower cost ones alongside the other monster Pierce unit in Glaciella Flagbearer. She can get absolutely gnarly AoE resistance, so can Ravies, so I expect this team to actually tank up Oelde quite well, as the Frostweave Vivification comes out from the Blade. And okay guys, I want to shout this out. This is something I wondered if would start popping up here. With the Wind Veritas TMR being everywhere, the Velis TMR can be a pretty good counter to this. It gives 10 AP to everybody, which is the same as you would be removed from Wind Veritas TMR. It also decreases AP consumption, which kind of nullifies the fact that you can't get the AP auto restore on. So I love this tech by Isvar. I just want to give a huge shout out to him for this. The Guard Haze comes out from the Lorenzo. Obviously a great unit just in the fact that he can give haste to his allies, and he can remove basically every barrier, courage, re-raise, all that kind of stuff in the game. Bar Blizzard coming out from the Blade, and we should see the fight kick off shortly here. Lion's Drain going to come out from the Oelde. Honestly, probably more damage than I would have expected. It was only like 2.4k. The Blade Bash lands the stun though onto Oelde. This is very, very nice start for Meefle and the Lightning Warriors. And shout out to Isvar for bringing his Water Pierce unit into the Lightning Warriors team. This guy knows what he likes to play. He brings it. I love it. Horizontal Jump coming in for 1500 damage. Blade is going to go for the Ice Vitalization, so just going to refresh this. This Protect should be pretty useful against the other team, though, as his physical barrier is still there. It has still not been removed. This guy has been taking this damage insanely well. Lion's Drain is going to heal him up to full. I'm not sure if he even was below full health. As Sharp Spear for the Liarte, so it looks like the Lancer sub-job. As Blinding Cross comes out, does land the blind on Blade, but not on the target you need it on. Counter Maw does barely any damage at all. And Lorenzo is finally starting to join the fight here. What can he get done as the Frostweave Vivification gets refreshed, which is really nice, keeping that Oelde AP up. Glaciella is so far away from this fight, though. This is getting really awkward for Meefle. But Oelde, if you notice the AP, is going to drop the Limit Break. I expect to deal a good amount of damage, but he only has 3 AP left. So that Velis TMR gave him just enough to be able to Limit Break, which is now, this is CT upping the entire squad. Blade, does he go for an SU on himself? No, he's just going to Ice Vitalization. He says, I don't care if I'm blind. I know where my family is. I'm just going to buff him right here. Interestingly, wow. Okay, Lorenzo goes backline. No more hate on Ravies. He murders the Liarte. Instead of taking out Ravies, Oelde is going to take her out. And man, this is rough. In terms of the way the positioning worked out, Meefle is now in a 1v3 for Glaciella. The only thing that he has going for him is an AP advantage. Valkyrie Burst can be a nice start because this can start an elemental chain. He gets AP auto restore, gets the courage, and next hit he goes for something like a triple cross, will be able to chain with himself, which can be nice, but he's going to have to deal so much damage to have a chance here. Lorenzo's going to jump up into the skies. Horizontal jump does barely any, but it actually does dispel AP auto restore. That, wow, I didn't even realize it did that. Unless he used a different skill to do that, I don't know. Regardless, very cool to see. Ruin comes out from the Blade. He says, I'm finally dealing some damage. Glaciella, with only 15 actions left, is getting her second attack of the fight off. And you can see decent damage onto the Lorenzo, but she just didn't get in there until too late, it looks like, as Spear Throw of Undoing comes out, removes the courage, and the Elda's Angels are triumphant in this fight. Yeah, a couple of things I want to shout out here. So both of these teams had only one loss heading into it. So these are a couple of juggernauts heading into the week. Elda's Angels, props to Isvar for not being afraid of all the lightning units on Meefle's team, just bringing what he knows, the Oelde King of the Lions. He's brought this to every fight, I think, all season. But I can't shout out the Velis TMR enough. Without the Velis TMR, he would not have had enough AP to go for that limit break when he did. It gives CT up to the party. It's just so... the limit break, I mean, gives CT up to the party, not the TMR. But I think this is an amazing counter, especially when you are running Oelde. When the enemy team knows that you have somebody who has AP Auto Restore built into their kit, they're more likely to use a Wind Veritas TMR, just like Meefle did, and I think that was a very smart option for Meefle to do. But the Velis TMR kind of counters it to a point, and I think that's a really, really intelligent bring by Isvar. So just wanted to shout that out again, but an awesome fight, and now we are heading to the Rundal Castle Gate, guys. We are not done. We're only halfway through. Let's jump into those battles. Heading over to the Rundal Castle Gate, we've got Norra's gang, coached by Maou, versus Royally Funked, coached by Alkor here. Looks like Alkor running a couple of magic units alongside Oldoa. I don't know if we've seen Oldoa this season yet, so it should be interesting, as it looks like a big old magic TMR being used, as well as that cheerful resistance buff coming out from the Winter Wrath. On the other side, a full fist comp coming out from Maou here, so Maraluk popping that protect onto everybody. Reprieve is here for Snow, which means he is going to have to die twice, essentially, because of that courage. And obviously courage online for Yrel as well, so double courage on the side of Maou here before the fight kicks off. What is Oldoa going to use? It is going to be Steady Summer Flower, interestingly enough, to try and nullify some of those status effects on the other side here. As Rally Magic being used by the Glaciella Regalia, another unit we haven't seen a ton of yet. So not only is the magic up for the team, but the magic attack and magic piercing is also up. So as much damage as Alkor can basically pump out, he is trying to go for here. Close Call is online for Snow, so he not only has his courage, but also has his heal back. I do think that Snow is a much more effective tank, or at least bruiser unit, if he's able to use both of these skills. Looks like Oldoa has no other buffs turned on. I don't think she has a ton of good ones, so typically just using that TMR, as the zombie TMR is used for Maraluk as well. So now everybody on Mao's side has a Don't Die skill going. Looks like Glaciella Regalia going to start channeling a spell here, which should be damage. Winter Wrath kicking things off, though, with a Star-Spangled Surprise here. And the surprise will be, how much damage is it going to be? 8,200 onto the Maraluk, and honestly, really good damage on the Snow, landing a slow as well. That is pretty brutal for Maou here, as Fury of the Forest is going to come out, and that just nukes the hell out of Winter Wrath. She does get the heal back proc, though, for 4,600. Will that make the difference here? As Oldoa is going to enter the fight, Hazard Break for 3,800 damage, tanked decently well by Yrel, considering the elemental disadvantage, but Regal Tranquility just explodes the entire team of Maou here, as it looks like those magic steroid buffs paying off for Alkor here, as Maraluk's going to go with the Surge Strike, and it looks like that heal back from Wrath is massive here, because Maraluk does not claim the kill she would have if not for that. As Azure Impact coming out from the Glaciella is going to knock out the Yrel. Snow is still standing tall here, but Winter Wrath, because of that counter, is going to get to act again. She's actually channeling a spell, though, so maybe it doesn't really matter. As Ravage comes through, it'll take her out before her spell actually ever goes off, which means this is now down to a 2v2. Oldoa, you're up to bat here. Snow should still have hate, as Drain Force comes in for 4,200, going to heal her all the way up to full. Terra Slash from the Maraluk is a little bit of chip, but nothing crazy here. And Glaciella, who absolutely popped off with her first spell. How much damage can she do this time? She's just going to standard attack Snow, get him down to that courage. But that slow is huge here, as he does not get nearly as many turns as he would have. Paralyzing Edge from the Oldoa will clean up the Maraluk, and it looks like Alkor is going to claim his third win in a row here. So Alkor, being the first team to beat, I think it was Maraxus. I think he picked up a win last week, and then he beat Maraxus in the first round here, was the first team to do that, and now picks up another one. Started out the season 0-4, but has won 3 straight, so I said this at one point earlier, Alkor is a great player, and that I wouldn't count him out even at 0-4, and I think he's showing exactly why. So, well played to both teams here, and congratulations to Royally Funked. Next fight up is going to be Elite, coached by Greatestness, versus the Bento Box Bullies. Maraxus looking to try and bounce back after his first loss in the season, as the Padfoot, the Pissarro TMR, being used by the Raphael right away. And this Raphael we've seen put in work throughout the season. This is the most reliable team that Maraxus has shown to this point. How does Greatestness answer to it with the Ice Water comp of Reagan, Glaciella, and Zazan here? So Reagan getting that AoE buff, which is obviously always helpful. Maraxus' entire team is fully hasted up, though. The Obsidian Order coming through for ice and wind resistance is a really smart tech against the Reagan. So it looks like expecting some sort of ice damage coming out from Greatestness' team. I know he has Grifford as well, so honestly, probably a pretty smart tech to use that TMR. As it looks like the War Maiden's Pride is online for Glaciella, this is a tremendous single target buff. And the King Bradley Trustmaster used by Reagan as well, so he says, hey, all of the haste on the other side, I need some for my side as well. Banishing Barrier here is going to increase the slash piercing for Raphael. Obviously, the Magic Barrier not going to do a whole lot, but it does have an offensive side to it as well. Magic Burst coming in, not much damage to the Glaciella, but honestly, 2,500 onto the Reagan is not too bad, considering Celis is a tank, and she tanks up that Killer Cross quite well as well. However, he does get that Human Resist down, which can be a pretty valuable debuff. How can Reagan capitalize on this with a Crimson Blade Strike, 4,400 damage? Notice no crits. So pretty good crit evasion coming out from Maraxus' side as the Armor Cleaver comes out for 4,500 on a Glaciella. That's a pretty good chip by Raphael. Stunning Thrust is 5,400, but Velis is ready to heal. I will say the healing power did get dropped by one of the attacks. Snow Healing is still going to heal for 10,000 though. My goodness, how is that possible? Did I miss? Maybe the healing power was only 10. Maybe it was the item, the Gauntlet of Sharpsteel. Maybe that was the case. I'm not entirely sure. As Heavenly Wrath is going to come through, good damage, going to kill the Reagan, and Maraxus is looking to dominate this battle here as Jamming Edge comes in for 1,200. Glaciella should be able to chain up here, at least a water chain, as she's going to go for the Limit Break. This Limit Break has received some really nice upgrades, but I think it's too late here as 5,600 damage isn't going to do a ton. The Barrier and the AP Auto Restore, Velis should be able to top her off. And the Snow Healing is going to hit Raphael as well. I'm not sure she really needed it, but the Agility up is obviously nice. Elegant Spinning Edge being used by Celis is just going to make her attack resistances go up. Not sure how much damage it will actually do. Okay amount to the Zazan, but Raphael should be able to clean this up. I think she should find a Heavenly Wrath. There it is, dropping the AoE resistance, dropping the Zazan, and a 3v1 major advantage here. Maraxus is going to claim another victory. He says, hey, that loss last time was just a small bump in the road, and I'm back to my domination here as Velis is going to go offensive mode. 1,300 damage will claim the kill and will claim the victory. And very big win here for Maraxus. Obviously, it's sitting at 6-1 now on the season, has been nothing short of spectacular. And I do think, looking at the battle, I don't remember what skill dropped the healing power, but I'm thinking that it was probably just the Gauntlet of Sharpsteel 10 healing power down. Because I think if it was more healing power down than 10, I can't imagine Velis's heal would have healed for 10,000. I could be mistaken about that, but that is kind of what I'm thinking. Unless somehow Celis debuffed the healing power down, that's possible as well. But regardless, it was a great fight, and congratulations to Maraxus. Next up to bat, we've got Dervis's light red mage composition with the Starlight Elena and Sylvie paired alongside the Lisette here. And we have seen Lisette even be slightly dodgy when paired up with some of these units. Curious to see if she will be this time. On Shadow's side, a very interesting composition with Summer Kilfei. We've got Lemure and Joom. So I'm not entirely sure what the plan is, but Shadow is one of those really creative players who finds interesting things. I know he loves his Quicken strategies. Would not be surprised to see this be a Quicken here. Whether or not it's a guard hastaja, I'm not sure. Yes, it is. So it is the haste onto Lemure and onto Joom. I think Shadow probably would have liked to have seen that on all three units, but does not quite catch it. The Starlight Elena is going to buff. She's going to start walking forward. Joom's going to get that Wind Blasting on, which will be a nice physical shield. Unfortunately, there's not a ton of physical damage on Dervis' side, just from that 40 cost Lisette here. As Lemure is going to just go for a Quicken, it looks like. She's starting to channel a spell. I don't see a situation where this would be anything other than a Quicken. But if she does have White Mage on and Quicken off, it could be like Protect or Shell, potentially. As the buff comes out from Summer Kilfei, it is a Quicken. Joom is going to catch it a little bit before her turn was going to capitalize. Stormwind Wren for 7,300 is good damage. Obviously, Starlight Elena, not the tankiest unit out there. She's more than just known for her evasion, but that guaranteed hit from Joom deals really good damage. As the Limit Break from Elena is going to start a nice light slash chain. Sylvie would be able to capitalize it, but I think she's just going to go for a Limit Break heal onto Elena. No, it's actually going to be the TMR. That's even better for Dervis here as a 3-hit barrier instead of a 1-hit barrier. Lemure, if she has White Mage on, should be going for a Kurga here. She should be low enough. Drain Rush is going to crush through that physical barrier Joom had, but she is topped off, fully healthy again. Should be able to find a giant Stormwind Wren again. Good damage onto the entire party here, as Elena's going to counter with a Star Supernova. 5,800 damage, no crit. Summer Kilfei really needs to join this fight soon, though, to give Shadow a chance. Constricting Cleave is going to proc the Courage. The accuracy is there. I don't think that's a guaranteed hit, so it looks like the accuracy is well done by Shadow. And Sylvie should finally go for a Limit Break this time. She is going to do it, so Make-A-Wish is going to come through. The one thing I will say, in Dervis' favor, I'm pretty sure Joom is out of AP at the moment. If she had AP, I think this might be in favor of Shadow, but without it, I don't think so, because she needs that guaranteed hit. Wicked Pummel going to do 2,300 damage. Lemure channeling another Kurada, not Kuraga, excuse me, for 4,000. The 14 AP. is enough for an air incisor, but that's it. And in terms of Shadow, I think he would have preferred to see a standard attack and just gain AP, but it doesn't matter. Joom is down. Starlight Elena, she might be an old unit at this point, but she still packs a punch. And speaking of which, the other light unit on the other side just demolishes Lisette. It is now into a 2v2 here. And Lemure's AI is kind of weird. This should be a guard Hasteja unless she goes for a raise. It is. So it's haste on the party. Who is going to act next? Excuse me, as the full life comes through for Sylvie. Summer Kilpay, yep, just going to murder Lisette again. She respawns just to be put right back into the grave. Star Supernova is going to take out the Lemure, though. And I think that probably takes out any chances Shadow has, unless he can one-shot the Elena. But he's not going to get an opportunity. Clever Paladin Strike comes through from Sylvie. It is going to claim the kill. And Section 9, coached by Dervis, claims another victory for himself. Looking very, very impressive on the season. A huge congratulations to him, and well played to both players. Next fight is going to be between Isvar and Elda's Angels versus Taiyo in Witch of the Empire. Can Taiyo pull a rabbit out of the hat just like he did last time, or does Isvar come through for the victory? Early buff from Elda, Keenblade coming out from Mashri, so that CT up, and it looks like the channeled spell means Lorenzo's probably going for a haste on the Elda, I would assume, and it looks like Taiyo is running double Sword Knight alongside 9S, so an interesting tech. Obviously, using all this commune with Espers, and I think Taiyo's probably going to try and go for another summon strategy. He did it earlier in the battle, and it worked flawlessly. Can he somehow pull it off again? He's on the opposite side of the map, so there is a chance that he could get this off. I'm curious to see what Esper it would be, though, if he goes for it. Against Isvar, I would imagine that he probably doesn't expect a magic threat, so I don't think it would be Carbuncle, but I could see him going for something else to try and amplify that damage. We'll have to see. Their Reawakening is here for Stern, so he's ready with his re-raise. What is Terra going to go for? Call of the Deity. So both of the skills to try and amp up that Esper summon gauge have been used by Taiyo's Terra. What is 9S going to go for? He's going to go for Almagest. What is oh my god, this is the new... Gosh, what the hell is that Esper called? I can't even think of it. It's the new, like, Light Dragon. I don't know the status effect other than just amping up light units' damage. So Stern is ready to capitalize on this. I think this is the strategy from Taiyo, hoping that Stern can just hard carry with this map effect on. Dive of Destruction comes through, though, removes the re-raise, which means Stern is now a lot more susceptible than he would be. Convergence for 11,000, though. We are seeing that map effect in full effect here for Taiyo. Is it going to be enough, though, as Terra is dropping? 9S should be able to claim a kill. Cyclonic Spear Shot will do it. It is now down to a 2v2. But Elda is up to bat with a Lion's Drain. Not enough to kill the 9S here. He is going to survive. Does Mashri have the damage to just one-shot him? She's going to jump up in the air. This should kill 9S, but what is the timing? No, it's actually single target on the Stern. And the carry of Taiyo's team is down for the count. Linear Spear Shot will do just a tiny bit of damage, but Isvar should be able to clean up this victory here. Mashri apparently can't get it with the standard attack. 9S is just going to flex a little bit with a perfect evade, as Elda should be able to clean this up with a standard attack, and Taiyo is going to fall to Isvar. Taiyo pulled some magic in the first fight in this video, couldn't quite pull it off this time. Still, regardless, got the Esper off exactly how he wanted to, and you could see with 11,000 damage from Stern how much that Esper does actually impact things. We never see a strategy like that it's so rare to see. That being said, Isvar's team just so incredibly well built, so incredibly well done. It was too much to overcome. Isvar looking very impressive all season, picks up another win, and a huge congratulations to him. Two more fights left in this video, guys, and it looks like Garouken is running that same spear comp that he's tried the last couple of times, and it looks like double axe plus Balo here for Hisoka. So what will we see? Revitalize coming out from the Yerma, which can be really, really crucial if you're able to get that AP. It's always a little risky using this just because Wind Veritas TMR is everywhere these days. As the Wall of Despair is being used by the DL, though, All-Out Assault from Luartha, and as long as McLeod doesn't do Wind Veritas TMR, this looks decent for Hisoka, so it does not get used on turn 1. So minimum, the Bells are going to give quite a bit of AP to Yerma, so she is ready to rock and roll. Keenblade coming out from the Balo, so he does start the fight with some hate, but obviously he's going to be backline hate, as the other two units are going to approach first. Relentless Stance for the Vega gives him courage, a little bit of AP. And obviously we can see with 113 now, Yerma has plenty of AP, has that defense piercing, and all that good stuff. Dialdo's still going to approach, get his second buff off here. As Winter Luartha going to go fight like a pirate, getting that speed up, that haste, that HP, all that good stuff. McLeod, what can he get done here? Vega is quite weak to piercing damage. 6,900 is a very good start. As Vega is going to kick things off, he's going to approach. Devastation Rend comes through. Good damage onto the McLeod. Couldn't see how much it was to Dialdo. Just a little bit of chip. Does lower that CT, but not enough for anybody to lap or anything like that. As the courage is there for Belo. Yerma, can she chain up with a slashing chain? Reaving Axe is enough to take out McLeod. Hisoka out to an early 3v2 lead here, but this is a hasted up Winter Luartha, and Javelin Fall does so much damage. That courage just barely saving Vega here. Dialdo should be able to clean him up. Chaos Magic Spear is missed. It is missed. Oh my goodness. The agility and luck apparently is enough for Vega and Yerma here. That Axe card obviously just gives agility and luck naturally. I'm not sure if this is an evasion team by Hisoka or if it's just that's helping. As the Limit Break comes out from Vega, but no Berserk. Binding Javelin comes through. 11,000 damage onto Belo is a ton, but fortunately for Hisoka, that backline hate comes in clutch, keeps the two damage dealers alive. And if Luartha was able to kill these other two units, this was GG, but now Yerma's going to come back for 7,300 damage, almost take out the Dialdo. It is now his turn to return damage. Can he actually hit these units? No, he's just going to go back and hit Belo. And this late backline hate Belo is coming through huge for Hisoka. It's going to proc his courage, and these two units are hanging on by a thread, but they are not being targeted. Belo going to go with the Trinity Burst. It's enough to take out the Dialdo. Yerma is up to bat, and I don't think Luartha has reflex, which means she is not long for this world. Unfailing Knee Breaker is going to come out, kill the Luartha, and Hisoka's going to win a 3-0 in this fight. Guys, this fight could have been very, very different if Dialdo was able to hit those two units. If he was able to, I think he probably just kills and that fight's over. I don't know for sure. Maybe he doesn't kill Yerma there. But regardless, an incredibly close fight, and a huge congratulations to Hisoka. With a huge week for him. He ended up winning both of his fights, putting himself in a really good position for the standings. And we've got one more battle for you guys today. Final fight of the video here, guys. We've got two teams trying to keep up in that playoff race. We've got Nemo on the right side with the Lionsguard, Meefle on the left with Lightning Warriors. Meefle running an interesting strategy, full magic comp, double mace plus a glove unit. More the merrier, more the regular, and Ildira. And on the right side, we've got the Dark Bahamut team with Bartz, Gafgarian, and Titus. Keenblade being used by Gafgarian. Slash attack will be useful on all three units, obviously. And the CT up is nice to try and get Titus forward. He doesn't start the fight with hate, but now he has it online with that Saintly Fortress. Has 15,000 HP. Not known to be tanky versus magic, but we'll see how he does here. As the Limit Break is being used by Ildira. And he says, hey, we don't have Keen Blade because we don't have armor users, but this is essentially our version of it. As Ildira's just going to lap, going to go Boon to the Lion, so a nice initial turn rotation here by Meefle. Calamity Guard coming through as well, and I really like this turn rotation to start this fight. Nemo on the other side is able to also get his follow-up, so he is ready to go. So both sides preparing very, very well for this fight. More than Merrier should be able to start this fight off, though. Divine Toxicology comes through, does not land the poison onto Bartz. That extra damage would have been nice to see, but obviously doesn't happen. Regular Moore, OG Moore, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to say. She doesn't have any buffs left, so she's just going to save herself a little bit of CT. Paralyzing Slash does almost nothing. 3,000 from the follow-up is honestly tanked decently well here. Moore is going to go Light of Spell Ceiling, 3,200 damage. Lands the Silence. That really shouldn't do much of anything against Titus, except, oh my goodness, Blade Blitz is going to take out More the Merrier. What I was going to say is Titus sometimes can run Reg Mage sub for the re-raise removal, as Ildira actually doing an okay amount of damage here. Obviously, the magic threats are more effective against Bartz, as he does normally have a physical barrier. The Purification actually removes the Silence from Titus. And he's going to follow up with a Taunting Blade, going to gather even more hate for himself. Follow up 1,700, follow up 1,600. Meefle looks like stacking up some nice unit resistance, but Bartz is going to clean up here, I think. Blood Sword for 10k. And it's just showing that you don't necessarily need huge follow-ups to make Bartz effective. Sometimes he can just be a really good damage dealer on his own. And Moore is going to go for the Astral Guidance. Maybe, just maybe, she can claim a kill, but I don't think she's going to be able to claim this win. It's going to drop the water attack resistance. It's going to drop Gafgarian. Poor level 120 unit never stood a chance here. But Bartz is showing how strong he is in this format. 130 cost and worth every penny of it, I would say. Nemo with a huge week this week, going 2-0, keeping his playoff hopes alive. Very, very well done by both players, but a huge congrats to Nemo and Lionsguard. And let's check out the standings. All right, guys, 5 weeks over and done with. These are the standings for the Wezette League heading into week 6. And now I want to mention absolutely nothing has been clinched yet for the playoffs. This is actually hard to believe. You would think that either the teams at the bottom would be eliminated or the top would be clinched already, but technically neither of those things are true. Now, a lot of things have to happen for that not to be true, but just keep that in mind as we look through these standings here. So we have a two-way tie for first place. We have Maraxus with Bento Box Bullies and Isvar of Elda's Angels. Both are currently sitting at 6-1. They are tied though, as they have not played each other yet. I don't know what week that happens, but they still are going to play each other, and that very likely could be for the first seed here. Dervis, though, in third place is not far behind. Coach of Section 9. I believe he still has to play both of them yet, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he only has to play one yet. I'll have to check on that. Fourth place, 5th and 6th, we have Hisoka, Nemo, and Meefle, all currently sitting at a 4-3 record. Shout out to both Nemo and Hisoka, both going 2-0 this week. Meefle unfortunately went 0-2, but all of these three teams are currently tied at 4-3. Hisoka is currently 1-0 in the tiebreaker. Nemo is 1-1. Meefle is 0-1. So that is the way that they fall right now. But again, that can certainly change as they go through the season. Greatestness and Garouken are both at 3-4 and both have the exact same tiebreaker essentially, because they beat the other 3-4 team, Alkor, head-to-head. So they are both tied for 7th. Alkor is currently in 9th. That being said, Alkor started the season 0-4 and is now on fire 3 in a row. That is a really, really great turnaround for him, and honestly would not be shocked to see him jump up into the top 6 at some point here. Taiyo, man, this video was wild. That first fight was really, really cool to see. Currently at 2-5 though. He's got his work cut out for him to try and get in that top 6. It's going to be tricky, but certainly not impossible. Shadow 91 and Maou, they are currently sitting at 1-6. Frankly, both of them, in order for one of them to make the playoffs, they have to win out. They have to win every single game from here on out. They have to end up 5-6, and then they have to be really, really, really lucky for the tiebreaker. Like, there's no way other way to sugarcoat it. You have to win every game from here on out, and you have to get lucky. So we'll see if it can happen for any of these teams. And the one thing I will shout out at the top here, Maraxus and Isvar. Neither team has clinched the playoffs. However, it's impossible for both of them not to make it. One of them, whoever wins the head-to-head, is guaranteed playoffs no matter what, and even just one single win from here on out guarantees it for either one of them. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. There's a lot of teams right in the middle that will be fighting for those top 6 spots, so it'll be curious to see who ends up in those spots at the end of the season. Again, we're 7 fights in at the moment, and there's a total of 11, so 4 fights remaining for everybody on this list. We'll see how it goes, guys, but I hope you enjoyed this video. We've got 3 more for you this week, and yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.